All right, so just finding a nice, comfortable seat. Starting out, you can be resting against the back of your chair if you want to be a little mellower. If you are feeling more energetic today, you want to start to engage the core, you can scoot forward in your chair. So just landing with your shoulders over your sit bones. And before we get going, let's just start to roll the shoulder heads back a little bit. You might get all kinds of cracks and crinkles, especially if you've been weeding a lot. 'Tis the season. And then let's start to roll forward. Good. Go back again. And then just allowing your shoulder blades to release down your back. And then you can have your hands on your thighs. They can be by your side, anywhere that feels good. Start to close your eyes if you haven't already. Take a deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. Again, smooth, deep inhale. Let the breath go. Ha. Let the day go. Let the Mondays go. Do that a couple more times, just at your pace. And then just sealing your lips, starting to find that inhale through your nose and that exhale through your nose. You begin to create that soft rush of air in the back of your throat. It sounds like ocean waves rolling in and out. Soaking up that sound of your breath, soaking up these initial quiet moments. So we kind of set the tone for the practice ahead here. You might just be checking in with your body and just sitting here nice and simply. Are there places where you're feeling a little tense, a little tender, a little sore? Are there places where you feel a sense of ease and freedom? Just noticing all of these things, not necessarily trying to change anything yet, but just finding this awareness of what's going on with you, with your physical body today. You're going to notice as you sit here quietly that you get distracted by sounds happening around you, that you get distracted by the thoughts coming in and out of your mind. So that's okay. That's part of the practice. When you do, however, notice that you've attached to those sounds or to those thoughts, just gently remind yourself to bring your attention back to your breath. So in this way, we start to cultivate and build our mindfulness muscle, much as we work on strengthening and stretching other muscles in our bodies in our yoga practice. If there are places where you're holding tension, often that's the shoulders or the face, the jaw, even the hands and the feet can clench a little bit. See if you can let go in those places. So yes, there's some effort to this seat, but there is also a sense of ease. Good. On your next inhale, gently blink your eyes open. And then let's bring our fingertips to our shoulders and let's just start to circle around. These can be small circles, they can be big, whatever is feeling nice in your body. You can kind of exaggerate the elbows coming forward and then reaching back so you start to feel that stretch across your pectorals. These look great. And then let's start to go in the opposite direction. So as elbows reach back, feel that openness, that widening across your heart and chest. Feel those shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other. It's almost like the elbows are trying to touch behind your back. Good. And then just finish up here. Release your hands down to your thighs or your knees, and we're going to move into a little seated cat-cow. So as you inhale, you're going to rock forward on your sit bones, shoulder heads press back. You're finding this nice arch in your lumbar. And then as you exhale, you go in the opposite direction. Let your chin release towards your chest. Come to the backs of your sit bones, so you're rounding in the thoracic. And then you continue like this at your pace. Eyes closed can feel really nice here. So often when we have our eyes open, we start to look around, we start to get distracted, we can start to compare ourselves. So eyes closed can be really nice. It kind of just gives you permission to notice the sensations happening in your body. Gives you permission to draw in, to check in. And as you're moving like this in this simple cat-cow, just notice how good it feels to connect the movement with breath. So you start to find this lovely rhythm. For many of us, this, when we start to move a little bit, when we flow a little bit with the breath, has this really nice calming effect. It actually helps us to quiet the mind a little more as opposed to just sitting static in a pose. And that may or may not be true for you, but just observing. Let's be here a little bit longer. So kind of just doing a lot of these today, but I want you to notice how it doesn't take much to really start to shift how we're feeling physically, energetically. Perhaps even your breath is beginning to shift here. Good. As you inhale, come back to your nice tall seat. And then just take your arms by your side and let's do just a little side to side stretching. So as you inhale, we're going to lean off to the right. Need not be deep starting out. Left arm comes up and over. Exhale, release down. Inhale, right arm up and over. Beautiful. Exhale, release. Then again, you just find your rhythm. So maybe you're stretching the breath out today, slowing it down. Maybe you're moving a little faster. Intuit what you need. It might feel a little different than how you usually move. That's okay. There's all of these little subtleties and shifts every time we get on our mat. It's really nice when we can learn to honor that, kind of decipher what's going on for us on it any given day. Really lovely work. Good. So let's go ahead and reach off to the right. So you're spinning the pinky side down. And for today, let's all just bend our elbow. So you can reach your fingertips kind of to the top of your spine and then stretch that elbow up. And you might find that you're getting more of a stretch in this tricep area. Notice if that left shoulder blade has started to creep up even the shoulder around the ear, soften down a little bit. You might find that you're not as deep into the side stretch, but it should still feel pretty good. Let's inhale, lengthen, left fingertips up. Exhale, release that hand down, and then inhale, right arm up and over. Find that side stretch, root into the right sit bone. Start to bend your elbow, and it's kind of nice. It just gets into a different place in the arm, and it can actually be quite intense. So make sure that you're breathing, that breath is moving. Make sure that your face, your jaw is soft and relaxed. These look great. Feeling all of this side stretching in addition to the arm and shoulder stretch. Go ahead and inhale. Extend right arm up. And then as you exhale, release down. And then let's take our hands to our thighs again and start to rock around in our pelvic girdle. So kind of just releasing that side to side lateral stretching that we're doing. And even that back bending, forward folding motion that we had in our cat-cow. So this just kind of is a little different. You can get your shoulders involved. You can get your head involved. You can just make this your own, really. Let's begin to move in the opposite direction. All right, come back to center. Let's get into the hips. And I actually want to do this not only to get into the hip, but all these big muscles attach the legs to the trunk. So this is also, the stretch that we're going to do is also really good for helping kind of lengthen the muscles in the lower back. So releasing some tension that you might be feeling there. So a couple of options here, kind of just classic seated pigeon pose. So taking your right ankle above your left knee, and then you can take your right hand and gently press down. For some of us, this just isn't in the cards. So if you're in that camp, if you're watching this on YouTube, you could always take your ankle on a second chair, or you could simply just open up this leg any amount and find the hip stretch there. If you're in this variation, you could take your right hand to the inside of your right thigh and then gently press back behind you. We're going to be here a little extra long today, so a couple of minutes on each side. So maybe knowing that, perhaps you give yourself a little less pressure. Perhaps you kind of back out of the pose a little bit since we have some time to melt in. And then start to bring your attention to your breath again. Maybe you even want to count your breath. So sometimes this is just a nice technique to give the brain a little something to chew on. Again, when we're in these static poses, especially ones where there's a lot of sensation for some of us, the chatter in the brain kicks up. It's almost like we want to escape the pose, so we start to think about things, or we hyper focus on the pose and how intense it is. And we almost tense a little more. So instead, just see if you can have an awareness of how things are feeling. You back off a little bit if you need to. You go a little deeper if you need to. But counting your breath might help you to stay present and focused. And certainly you do want to have, some sensation here. We're always trying to be mindful that we're not causing harm or pain. So for these final moments here, if this is a good place to be, you can stay here. If you would like to go a little deeper and you feel steady and safe where you're at, you might start to hinge forward and fold in any amount. And you can hold on to your shin, hands just resting. You also, for those of us that have a little more flexibility in the hips, you could take your hands onto blocks And of course, all of the variations offered, you don't have to take any of them. Sometimes too, if you're in a pose and it just feels like, I need to get out of this pose, you can honor that as well. Always coming back to your mountain pose. Couple more breaths. Good. Let's inhale. Start to roll on up. Nice work. And then if you're here with the ankle crossed over that left knee, we're going to take the entire leg over. So right thigh over left thigh. And if you were in this variation, you can just bring that leg in and then come here. So our Gomukhasana, our cow face legs, or our eagle pose legs, our Garudasana. All right, so as you sit here, find those sit bones, anchor down, start to lengthen through the sides of your waist. And we're going to take a nice little twist here. So also twists can be very good for the spine. Of course, if there is tenderness, you always just go a little less far, but we're going to inhale, take our arms out wide. Good, and then we're going to exhale, twist to the right. Just hold here a breath or two. Arms stretching, feeling this lowermost left rib come along for the journey. And then you can grab a piece of chair behind you with your right hand and then just take your left hand to the outside of that right thigh. So you're pressing back again a little bit. Shoulder heads are pressing back. Sternum lifts. You have this openness across your heart and chest. Observe if the breath has shifted in your body here. So as we come into twists, we're kind of constricting everything, the rib cage. So sometimes it feels like we can't get as full of an inhale. So do your best to fill up. You might even be bringing your gaze out over that right shoulder or moving in that direction. That just starts to stretch into the neck a little bit. Good. Stay in the twist, but begin to bring your gaze out over your left shoulder. Beautiful, ladies. And then maybe tuck your chin. Notice if that left shoulder popped up, release it down. And you're probably feeling some sensation on that right side of the neck, those scalene muscles. So they work really hard to keep the brain, the skull upright. I'm kind of just giving them a little love here. Good, deep inhale. Full exhale. And then inhale, just start to lift your chin so it's parallel to the floor. And then exhale, unwind, and just release your arms by your side. Take a couple breaths here, staying with the legs like this. So sitting nice and tall. And then let's inhale, reach the arms out perpendicular. We're going to give ourselves a hug. We're going to take this right arm underneath, left arm on top. So elbows stack. And then we're going to kind of find like a little cat-cow here. So as you inhale, you're going to rock forward on your sit bones, elbows lift. You might start to bring your gaze up. And then as you exhale, rock to the front of your sit bones, elbows release down, chin comes towards chest. Inhale, lengthen. Really lovely. Exhale, roll in. Let's do 2 more full rounds. So inhale, lift. Little back bend. Exhale, we come into the forward fold. Just alternating between the two. Final one here. Inhaling, arching. Exhale, round in. And then inhale, release the arms out and down. Beautiful work. And we'll take that little sequence to the second side. So we're going to uncross that right thigh. So find your mountain pose, legs about hips distance apart, knees over ankles approximately. If you're watching this at home and you're a little bit shorter, you could always take a blanket underneath your feet. That will just give you a little lift. So kind of want the knees lining up with the hip bones. All right, this side could feel different in your body. So you're just gonna pay attention. You're gonna see what you need. So classic seated pigeon pose, crossing your left ankle above that right knee and then maybe gently pressing down. Couple of minutes here, so go easy, start slow, and then move your way in a little deeper as feels good. If this isn't working on this side, again, you can just find any amount of hip opening. So you do want to land with knee over ankle, and then if you need a little more, so you're thinking left knee pressing behind you if you're in this variation. And you can just assist that a little bit by pressing your left palm into the inner thigh and just pressing back. And you're breathing here, checking in with the face and jaw, making sure that there's no tension. You're noticing the little discrepancies that exist in your body side to side. Sometimes they're quite noticeable, sometimes they're a little more subtle. Observe. This is one of the great gifts of our yoga practice. There's so many benefits that we derive from it, but this ability to pay attention, to check in, and then to make little adjustments. Good. So for the final several breaths, again, you're welcome to stay here like this. If there's a little more room in your body, again, maybe you start to hinge forward, fold in. So your hands could be resting on your shin if you have that left ankle crossed over, or maybe you have some blocks and you can bring your hands to the blocks. So the important piece here is that you feel stable and safe. Say 3 more good breaths. If you're in your forward fold, go ahead and rise on up. Nice work. Okay, so if that left ankle is crossed above your right knee, just bring that leg entirely over your right thigh. If you're in this variation with the leg open, draw it in, and then lift that leg up and over right thigh. So we all land here in these eagle pose legs. Root down into your sit bones. Let that anchored sensation and feeling inform the lengthening that you get through the sides of your waist. So you're just sitting nice and tall here. Listening to your breath. And we take this into our twist on this side. So inhale, stretch your arms out. Good, feel shoulder blades releasing down as you exhale, twisting from this lowermost right rib. Start to move to the left. Just a couple of breaths like this. And then we come into the full twist here. So grabbing a piece of chair behind you with that left hand. Right hand comes to the outside of the left thigh. You're gently pressing your shoulder heads back. You're making sure that your shoulder blades are releasing down your back so the ears aren't kind of sneaking up towards the ears. The ears aren't sneaking up towards the ears. The shoulders aren't sneaking up towards the ears. That's what I meant to say. You might begin to bring your gaze out over your left shoulder. That's going to give you a little stretch through the right side of your neck. So don't overdo it. It is okay, however, to have some sensation. What's your breath doing here? Really try to fill up on that inhale. And stay in the twist with your lower body, but just bring your gaze towards your right shoulder. Might not get all the way there, that's fine. And then just gently start to release your chin down. So just tucking the chin a bit. Good. Inhale, lift your chin parallel to the floor. And then as you exhale, just unwind. So arms just releasing by your side, finding those sit bones. Maybe even engaging outer hips, just feeling everything squeeze into the midline. And then inhale, arms perpendicular with shoulders. Give yourself that hug again. This time left arm comes underneath. So elbow stack here. Sitting tall. As you inhale, rock forward on your sit bones. Start to lift your elbows up towards the ceiling. Exhale, rock to the backs of your sit bones. Elbows release down, chin releases down. A few more like this. Inhaling, finding that arch, a little modified cat-cow here. Exhale, rounded. Inhale, extend. Exhale, round. Good. Inhale, extension. Exhale into flexion. And then inhale, come up. Stretch the arms out. And then exhale, release them down. Beautiful work. Go ahead and uncross that left thigh. So just come back to your nice mountain pose. Make any little adjustments you need to. So just check in, kind of fine tune the pose here. And then let's get into the neck a little bit more. So start to drop your chin towards your chest. We often do this more towards the beginning of class. So notice how this is feeling for you today. It might feel pretty tight. We may have done enough other things that it's a little easier to find that lengthening in the back of the neck. Both are fine scenarios. Keep your chin tucked as you exhale. Start to bring your right ear towards your right shoulder, and there's no rush to get there. We're going to just hold here for a few breaths. Maybe releasing your left arm by your side. That's going to intensify the stretch that you're feeling through the left side of your neck. And then maybe you even start to extend that left arm out and up a little bit. And you're going to get to a place where you definitely get a little more sensation. Keep breathing. Keep the face, the jaw soft and smooth. All right, so wherever you're at, just exhale, release down. Let's take our right hand to our right cheek. Just give the head a little assist. Beautiful. All right, so again, just tucking chin down towards chest, taking a few breaths here. Shoulder blades are releasing down your back, so make sure that the shoulders aren't up around the ears. And then you're going to keep your chin tucked and just begin on your exhale. Start to bring left ear towards the left shoulder, but moving slow, feeling all of the stretching that happens in your neck as you start to move in that direction. And these neck and shoulder stretchers can be really, really intense. Keep that breath moving. Hands on thighs might be the right spot to be for you. Maybe you release that right hand down. So just kind of intensifying things a little bit. If you go there and it's too much, you skip it. And then maybe you start to lift that right arm a little bit, and it kind of gets into an interesting place in the shoulder if you're doing that. So just kind of noticing that. But again, choosing not to do it if it feels like too much. And do know that sometimes it's really hard to make the decision not to do something. We always want to do our best. We always want to maybe push ourselves more than we need to. Really give yourself permission to practice wisely. Do less if that's what you need. Good. So if you've lifted that right hand, go ahead and release down. And then let's all use our left hand to help us bring our head to center. Really nice. Let's just move into a few half sun salutes to just find a little flow and kind of release all of that, open it up. If you have blocks, they can be really nice by the sides of your feet for when we start to forward fold in. Again, if you're practicing this at home from YouTube, if you know that it doesn't feel good in your body to come into a deep forward fold, you could also just place your hands on a table in front of you when we move in that direction. So always modify any way that you need to or skip poses that don't feel good. All right, so here we are finding our nice Tadasana mountain pose. And we're going to inhale. You can take your arms out and up. Sometimes for some of us, depending upon what's going on in the shoulders, it feels better to stretch forward and up. Good. From here, we're going to exhale, fold in. So again, you can take arms out wide, kind of swan dive. If you need a little more support, you use your hands to help you roll in. Lengthen in the back of the neck. And this is where it can be nice to press either into your thighs or to your blocks. Extend your chest forward, your gaze comes forward. So you're kind of making a little L shape with your body. Beautiful. As you exhale, release back in. Really try to let go of any gripping in the back of the neck. And then as we inhale, we come back up to our extended mountain pose. So you can use your hands to help you roll up. You can take your arms out wide to find that reverse swan dive. Beautiful. And then as you exhale, you can take arms out wide. Sometimes it feels nice to bring palms together down heart center. So lots of little ways that we can mix and match these. So let's just do a few more. Inhaling, stretching up, Utthita Hastasana into Tadasana. Can you hold on to all of this length you've created as you start to release in to your forward fold, your Uttanasana. Inhale, chest lengthens forward, gaze comes forward. Yeah, nice work. As you exhale, fold back in. Rooting down so you can rise up, take up space, maybe gaze up, perhaps press palms together. And then exhale, hands come to heart center. We've got two more, so I'm not going to cue you. You can just follow along with me, or if you're good at these, maybe you close your eyes and do the next two rounds as long as you feel steady and safe. But just begin to flow in your time, your rhythm. There's something so magical about flowing like this, finding this space in the body. It's kind of hard not to be happy when you're doing these sun salutes. If you are unhappy doing sun salutes, there's nothing wrong with you. That's also okay. When you've completed your second round and there's no rush to get there, you're just going to pause in your mountain pose with your palms together at your heart. And you're going to close your eyes if they're not already. You're going to do a little check-in here. You might notice that your heart's beating a little faster. You might notice that there's a little heat inside your body. Maybe it feels as though there's a little more space, a little more ease. So observing all these things. Good, and then just release, blinking your eyes open, and you can just release your hands down. All right, so let's come into another twist here. Let's keep our legs as they are. So we're going to kind of turn this into potentially a chair pose twist. So I'll give you a few different options here, but you can start out with your feet about hips distance apart. And again, you want to have the ankles underneath the knees. All right, so you're anchoring into your sit bones, you're lengthening through the sides of your waist. We're going to inhale, stretch our arms up. We're going to think of this as our chair pose instead of our mountain pose. As you exhale, you're going to bring your palms to heart center. Take a nice deep inhale here, lengthening through the sides of your waist. And then as you exhale, you're going to start to twist to the right. And I'm going to give you a couple of options here. So if you feel steady and you have a deep twist, you can hinge forward at your waist and then maybe bring your left elbow to the inside of your left thigh, perhaps even to the outside of your right thigh. So if folding forward isn't in the cards for you, you could stay here like this upright, or maybe release your hand, so left hand to the outside. Again, it could be inside of left thigh, outside of right thigh. Hold on to a piece of chair. So both really good options. They're basically doing the same thing. So you find the one that feels good for you. Maybe again, moving towards bringing your gaze out over that right shoulder head. Trying to fill up on the inhale, even though it's a little challenging in these deep twists. So take a nice deep inhale. As you exhale, empty out, twist in a little deeper. And then inhale, you're going to unwind from wherever you are. So if you're folded forward, you're going to sit back upright. All right. So second side. Inhale, reach up, Utkatasana. Exhale, hands come towards heart center. So vigorously press palms together, press your shoulder heads back, and then take a nice deep inhale here, lengthen through the sides of your waist. And as we exhale, we start to twist these right ribs to the left, vigorously pressing palms together. So you could stay like this. If you feel safe, hinging forward at your waist, so finding a little forward fold. Maybe you bring that right elbow to the inside of the right thigh. For those of us that have a little more flexibility in the spine, a deeper twist, maybe you're bringing your right elbow to the outside of your left thigh. And then of course, if you're more upright, but you want to go just a hair further, reach that left hand behind you and then press the right palm to the outside of your left thigh or the inside of your right thigh. Beautiful work. These are so good. Maybe bringing your gaze out over that left shoulder. Breath smooth and steady. Nice deep inhale. Exhale, empty out, twist in a little more. And then inhale from wherever you're at. Come back to center. Just release your hands down to your thighs. Let your eyelids shut. Take a few breaths here. And then blink your eyes open. So let's come into a warrior two pose. So options with the legs. You can stay like this if this is where you feel the most stable. If you want to open up this right hip, you're welcome to do that. So kind of you can go as deep as feels good in your body, but we're just looking for this right knee to land over the right ankle. You could stay here like this with the left knee bent. Maybe you can extend that leg to straight. So this would be an option as well. And then the final option would be to take this left leg out wide, open it up, but you're turning to the inner edge of that left foot. So this left hip essentially is releasing down, whereas we're opening up this right hip. So we're finding a little bit of that feeling that we had in our seated pigeon pose. So that nice hip stretch. All right, and your torso, so sometimes we want to hinge forward at that right hip. So that's moving towards a pose, but that's not the one we're doing now. So I want you to make sure that your torso is squaring to where you're facing. And then we're going to inhale, stretch the arms up. Good, so just a couple of breaths here, gazing out over those right fingertips. And then go ahead and keep your arms like this, but bring your gaze forward. Stretch that right arm up. Bend the elbow. And then take your left hand on top, gently pull down if that feels okay. If it feels too intense, simply skip it. Breath smooth and steady. And then let's start to turn this into a little funky reverse warrior. So you're going to start to side bend at that left hip. So feeling all of this lengthening through the right side. And you can just keep your arms in this configuration. And then maybe go ahead and release your left hand down. It can press to that left thigh. You can grab a piece of shirt. Extend right arm up and over. So our classic reverse warrior. Beautiful. Such a pretty pose. Inhale back up to your Virabhadrasana 2. Nice work, ladies. As you exhale, release your arms down. And then we're going to make our way back to our second side. So and just get resituated, find your mountain pose. So you could also just do the upper body stuff with your legs like this, if this is where you feel stable. Otherwise, you're going to open up that left hip. And again, we want to have knee over ankle. Doesn't matter how far you're opening up, you're going to go to that place where it feels good in your body. Perhaps you stay here like this. Maybe you extend that right leg straight out. Few of us might be able to open that leg and then you roll to the inner edge of that right thigh. So more the classic version of the pose. That being said, all of the variations are good. They're basically doing the same thing. And then find that squaring of your torso. So you kind of have to drag those left ribs forward. Beautiful. Inhale, stretch arms up. And then bring your gaze out over those left fingertips. Just a couple breaths here. Keep the shoulder blades releasing down. They're squeezing in towards each other. Breath is smooth and steady. Check in with that again. We're going to find the little shoulder stretch here. So go ahead and reach this right arm up. Left arm, I'm sorry. Bend the elbow. And then you're going to take your right palm on top of the left elbow if that feels okay. It's kind of this nice stretch through the tricep, the outer edge of the arm. Pretty intense. All right, so let's keep our arms like this. Let's start to reverse our warrior. So you might not go as far as you do when your arms are stretching out, but just kind of see where you're getting the sensation. You should definitely be feeling this nice lateral stretch through the left side of your body. And then let's release this right hand so you can hold onto a piece of chair. You can take your hand on your thigh and then extend at that left elbow. Start to spin right ribs up. Maybe gaze up underneath that top arm. A reverse warrior. Looking good. Inhale up to your Virabhadrasana 2. Exhale, release your arms by your side. And then just go ahead and readjust. Come back to your mountain pose. And then you're going to close your eyes when you get there. And let's just do a little pranayama. So let's work on our box breath today. So basically a 4-part breath. We're going to inhale to the count of 6. Then we're going to pause the breath at the top to a count of 6. We're going to exhale through our nose to the count of 6. And then at the bottom, we're going to hold the breath out to the count of 6. So particularly on those places where we're holding the breath, so at the top of the breath and the bottom of the breath, sometimes the body likes to tense up. So the shoulders come up to the ears. So I want you to be mindful to keep things relaxed. If at any point you feel like you need to breathe in those retentions, by all means do so. But let's just give this a whirl. This is a really nice breath to do if you're feeling anxious. It can be kind of calming before going to sleep. So it just kind of evens everything out. So let's, before we begin, take a nice deep inhale through the nose. And then a full, complete exhale through the nose. And here we go. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale through your nose. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Continue on your own. Let's do like 3 or 4 complete rounds. You can change the count if you need to. But just find this sense of evenness. So just finish up the round that you're on. Then you're just going to return to nice, natural breathing, inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your nose. And we're going to move towards a final resting pose. So that just might look like quiet meditation for you as you sit in your mountain pose. Maybe it feels good to find a forward fold. If that feels a little too intense, kind of splitting the difference, so resting your forearms, your head on your forearms, and then forearms on a table or a chair in front of you. So almost like a supported child's pose. So just find where you need to be comfortable. You are also more than welcome to come into classic Shavasana on the floor if it's easy for you to get there. And then we just soak up these final quiet moments. So we've worked really hard the past hour. Now we're going to rest really hard. We're going to give our body, our brain, the opportunity to assimilate and incorporate all of this work we've been doing. Let yourself go there. Let yourself get quiet and still. Shavasana. Asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mritya ma mritam gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Take a deeper inhale. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. And then just start to bring a little gentle movement back to your body. Wiggle, stretch. Anything that feels good here. And then resting your palms in a pile on top of your heart, gently bowing your chin down. Just sending yourself love and gratitude for showing up and working hard. And just promising yourself that you're going to carry a little of this good feeling you've created with you into the rest of your day, the rest of the week ahead. Beautiful work today, everybody. Thank you.